Okay, they can hear you. Now they can see you.
Hi, everybody. Thanks for being here. This is the Creativity Show. I'm Clare Cooley. My son, Bodie Werner, is the technical part of this. I'm the hands-on everything. And I want to thank the Minnesota State Arts Board for the grant to do these live streams of me illustrating my life story. What a challenging, inspiring, daunting, wonderful idea, task. I love challenging myself, especially creatively. And so this is challenging. And I'm feeling really good about not criticizing myself, not stopping myself with doubt and fear, just going for it. So I'm going to work on the second painting in this collection of illustrations of my life story, which I'm going to start by saying is I've always felt connected to everyone. I see myself in everyone else. I see a little bit of everybody has things in common. What we have in common and our connection is far more important than our differences. I've always believed that, and the longer I live, the more true that feels, and the more crucial it feels to represent that, to celebrate that, what we have in common, and not our differences. And let us not make assumptions that we know anyone else. People all my life have thought I came from wealth, that I am wealthy, and I'm flattered sometimes by that, but I also see how we can make assumptions that are completely off base. And so I try really hard not to do that with other people. Just stay open, not assume I know who they are. Even, working with my son, when he asked me to collaborate with him and named us Mother-Son Productions, we're still learning who each other is. We're going to always learn, if we're open to it, who we are, who other people are, even if they're our family, even if we think because we've known them for so many years, we know who they are. Let people change, evolve, let us keep growing. So let's start with that. And today, because of the season we're in, we're going to show a quick little video that I did just before the camera turned on today. Are you ready to show that, Bo?
Yeah.
So it is how I love to use whatever I have, whatever materials, time, what I find, what people give to me, what I might find in a used store, reasonable. I don't like to spend a lot of money, so I keep recreating with the same materials. So this season, here is turning the dining room into this seasonal celebration. I call this the gift giving season. And one of the gifts we can give ourselves is the happy, bright decorating. And red is a beautiful color for this season because, especially where we live, many places in the world, stick season they call it, when the leaves fall off, and it can be monochromatic outside, to bring in the reds and the greens when the leaves have gone and the grass has gone, is really brightening it up and using color for its beautiful ability to uplift us. I call it a mood elevator. So this is the season of adding red. So I use the same materials over and over, but I arrange them differently each time I use them. And I love to change the decor here in the Emerald Lady
Hello, Tigger Tiramisu.
Oh, nice. Thanks for being here.
She said, very true. We have so much to learn from each other.
Nice. It's so true. Share who you are. No one else can. Share what your perspective, your visions, your heart with the world, your story. No one else can tell it. Share your art. Art is heart. And here we are using the same materials I've used every winter season, the gift giving season, but in a different way. I just collect them, set them all out, and then I just go through the areas and add them, never doing it the same way twice, so I never get tired. I never stop appreciating the materials and the space. I never take it for granted because every time it's a new arrangement. And I love creating. It's a joyous, restorative place. All children, well, I'm not going to say all because there are always exceptions. Most children are very creative because that voice of doubt that, well, this will never work, or that's going to look stupid, or, you can't do it that way, other people do it this way. All those voices have not set them into stagnation yet, we hope, and we hope they never do. So, as I like to share, when my doubt voice, I have it like everyone else, comes up, I say, this is my time to explore and play and enjoy. So I don't really need the critic right now. There are times when the critic is very important, but right now it's my playtime. And if the critic comes back and tries to say something discouraging, I just say, perhaps you didn't hear me. This is my time to enjoy my own imagination and creativity and what I have to work with. So you're not needed right now. And if it comes back a third time, I say, get the F out, because, our own critical voice and the critical voice around us will stop us if we let it.
So, comments. You got a comment on YouTube that said, where did you get all of those decorations? And then Tigger Tiramisu. So you answer that first, and then I'll read the other one.
Okay. People give me things because they know I enjoy organizing and putting things away, not letting them get ruined. And I have a life policy of try not to waste anything. So I organize stuff, I keep it nice without getting mildewed or moldy or broken. And then I go get it when it's time to use it. And I also, ever since I was a small child and grew up in a very financially challenged family, my mother with 4 kids, alcoholic husband, and asthma, there was never any extra money. So I learned to find things, yard sales, very, very young in life. And honestly, I have so much stuff donated, found in nature, in my yard, the pine cones that I made wreaths from. There's some ornaments I'm going to show very last. That were made by my mother and little sister. So finding deals, really economical deals, finding things that other people might throw away and absorbing things that other people don't have space for. And so I don't really shop. I'm not a shopper. I think the difference between a hoarder and a creative can be organization. So when it's time to create the holiday gift giving season, I know where those materials are. They're in one storage container that doesn't absorb moisture and ever get damaged. So that's what I do. And I say, what do I have to work with, whatever project I'm doing? And that's what I'm going to creatively challenge myself and expand my creative. This is what I'm going to work on today, Cloud Child, the second piece in my life story illustrations. It's in process, and it's about my connection that goes way back to the very beginning with birds and flying things. And my first published work was the Book of Cranes I did, painting all 15 species of cranes, which, by the way, on Saturday, I'm going to do an extra live stream, not just Wednesday and Sunday, with this series. That's the first piece in this series, called Primordial Potential, the infant in the primordial soup of the early universe. But Saturday, I'm launching a new book with all my crane art, which is somewhere close to 50 pieces of crane art. So here we have another question.
Yeah, did you? So Tigger said, I admire your ability to arrange even non-traditional decorations for holidays. Wish I had your gift. And then she said, do you start with coordinating colors for decor, or do you just go by intuition?
Great questions, and you do have my gift, because we all have it. And as John Cleese, I heard say recently, in many different professions, they were asked, architectural, all kinds of engineering, who's the most creative in your office, in your group? And what those creative people had was playfulness. So it's about letting ourselves play and explore. And how I arrange things is, I usually go for color. I like, as this outfit I stenciled and I'm wearing today demonstrates, I like usually 2 colors, sometimes 3, but I almost always design around the color palette that I've chosen. And in the living room, it's golds and peach, apricot colors. And so let me show you this chrysanthemum stencil on this rose silk jacket that I dyed. It rose, and then I made this jewelry, which is white and rose, to go with it. So
show the chrysanthemum.
So there's the 3 chrysanthemum stencils that can be used in so many ways. I've used them on cards, and I use them as decor on the back of the holiday tree. And I've used them in art, on walls, on clothing, and they can be used on furniture, on dishes. So many different ways stencils can be used, which is why that's how I started with my Patreon. Is there's 18 flower stencils. This is one of them on my Patreon for members for no extra fee. And I'm getting 3 live streams this week. Just finished Bodhi's movie, 20 people in the crew. Busy, but love the busy things we're doing, the creative, fulfilling, heartwarming stuff. But I'm about to calm it down a bit so that I can get back to putting up stencils regularly on my Patreon, so members get them for no extra fee, or you can select any stencils you want, even the free Patreon members, and instead of getting all of them. So I think we're ready to start working on this. If this overhead camera is ready to,
Ready when you are.
Okay, so Cloud Child here, I think needs some pinky tones in her flesh. And so I'm going to do that with a pencil instead of watercolor because I get to. The thing that's so wonderful about art, I'm going to get a stool I can sit on here. Here's how I organize my pencils. So, and you've seen how the last live stream we showed you how I organize my dishes of watercolors. So it's easy and fast and flowing. I like creativity to flow and not have to stop and find stuff when I get the creative urge. I can just go with the inspiration if I can easily find the materials. And I, like everyone else, I have times where I'm not inspired or overwhelmed, sometimes sad, sometimes not energized.
I see Sue Spencer is watching. Hi, Sue.
Hi, Sue. Nice to know you're here. So during those times when I'm not inspired, not clear what to do with my time and energy, I have a life policy of organize something. And then when the inspiration comes back, whatever those tools or materials are, or just life's necessities, are more organized. So my policy with organizing is organize enough so that the more enjoyable things in life I have more time for. And it is more enjoyable to create than to organize, but I find organizing grounding. So if I'm ever feeling not centered, that's what I do, is organize something. And then when it's time to create, that thing is more organized. So Cloud Child. All of these pieces in this collection are going to be visual metaphors for my life, and I feel like I'm like everyone else, made out of the same materials in my own arrangement, of course, my own particular recipe. So, but I feel like anybody's story is everybody's story. We're all very much more similar than we are different. And as a little girl, well, I was born with colic, my godmother told me, and I was so skinny and pathetic and in pain I couldn't eat, and so I was always hungry. And my mother had severe asthma and 2 other infants and an alcoholic husband, so I lived for that earliest part of my life over in my godmother's home, and she said people would go in the room with my bassinet to comfort me because I'd be whimpering, hungry, and they'd come out crying because I couldn't be consoled, because colic is, I guess, basically your stomach is not formed enough to digest food. So anyway, she said when it passed, you just got this smile on your face that's never gone away. And she was studied early childhood development, and she said people with colic are often really happy adults, and I can get that, because as soon as the pain lifts, you're like, oh, life is good. And it doesn't take much to make you happy. If you have pain and it lifts, That's really wonderful. So even our hardest stuff can be a blessing. Now I'm going to add some, I call it an aura. It's something I have always done in my art. I'm self-taught. My mother, who was classically trained at the museum school in Boston and well-read because she was sickly in her childhood and separated from her family with her aunt in the city, and her family lived far away. They thought that'd be better for her and her asthma. So she was always in the library and always in the museum if she was well enough to go outside, and often alone at home. And so she was very learned and very literate. And I'm the opposite. I never read a book until I was 21 years old, and I've written more than I've read. I'm not proud of it. I'm not ashamed of it. It's just we're all who we are, and that's who I am. And I like to listen to people. I like to constantly hear what interesting people have to say and interviews, and I like to listen to books on tape. But I'm still not really a reader. And so one of the things I do, my mother said, the rules don't matter for you. You have your own way, and you follow your instincts, and you stop when it's done. And she knew a lot of very excellent artists, including herself, and they often going to school, art schools and such, were so thwarted by the criticisms and the feedback that they often didn't even do their art. Whereas I'm kind of blessed with this, I don't know how, no one ever told me, lights are blinking out here, the right way. So I just do it my way. And so one of the things I do is this aura around things. It just, I don't know, I just like it. And like she said, if you learn the rules, when I asked her for technical technique, she said, if you learn the rules, you just have to forget them because you have your own way. And what a blessing to have a mother like that, who believed in me and supported me in being me. And it's the only thing any of us can be, is ourselves. And it's the only thing, as Neil deGrasse Tyson, I heard him say recently in a YouTube video, art, he said science, the expression, they've got it down to a science. And my distillation of what he said is, or we can elevate it to an art. And what he said was, if it's science, someone else will discover it if you don't, sooner or later. But art, nobody but you is going to do what you can do. So to me, it has always been the most important thing to do with my life and my time is share what I love. And what I love is nature and the mysterious universe, and how we're all connected, and all of our materials were created in the heart of stars, and so we're connected to the universe, and the universe is in us. So that's pretty marvelous.
Yeah. So if you could explain what stage you're at, and how do you divide the art project into stages? Like, do you start by sketching and
I've always been a sketch in my mind kind of person. wasn't born into wealth. That's not why I can afford to be an artist. I can afford to be an artist because I'm efficient in everything else. I try to do everything else: dishes, laundry, house cleaning, clothing repair, whatever I need to do as efficiently as possible, so there's time for creativity. And I've always been that way. And even when I was the only one, supporting my two nephews, because my older sister fell into drug addiction and couldn't take care of herself or her kids, and my beautiful sickly mother. And so I was supporting all four of us with no economic assistance from anyone. I had very little time for art, but it's what makes me happy. So I've always wanted to spend that, whatever time I have, even if it's 5 minutes a day. And that makes a big difference in me staying happy. So I've done that. And so I sketch in my mind because that's quicker. And I try to think it out as much as I need to before beginning. So once I begin, I am committed to finishing. And so that's another one of my policies. If I begin, I'm committed to completing. And so with this series of images illustrating my life story, I started with a written list that turned into not only prose poetry. I find myself entertaining. I am self-entertaining, and I find myself entertaining because I have some strange idiosyncrasies that I just go with. And one of them is the pieces in this series all had a title, and then it turned into a little prose piece that not only was it a unique little prose piece about each one of the images, but they were all alliterations. Each line, the words started with the same letter, and all the prose pieces made beautiful shapes. And so for me, all the arts are connected. And so the beautiful shape of the prose is the visual part of it. And then, of course, there's the word part of it, which is the prose. And then, of course, there's the meaning of the words.
So Tigger Tiramisu said, I love the feathers. What do they mean for you in this piece?
Well, as a little girl, and this is, Cloud Child, the beauty of a feather could soothe me. And there was a lot of drama, chaos, danger in my family with my father's alcoholism and his unhappiness, and my older sister, who firstborn, took it on, and my older brother, blah, blah, blah. A lot of chaos. So what gave me comfort is the beauty in nature, and what gave me a feeling of relaxation, lightness of being was, just watching clouds and birds fly free. And so I spent a lot of time doing that, watching birds, imagining what they could see, their perspective, and clouds turning into different shapes. So it was a place of comfort for me. And so that's what the floating free feathers and the lightness of the clouds and Cloud Child resting safely as if gravity had no deleterious effect on her. Freedom, ease, safety. Okay?
Great.
So this shading outside the object, I kind of do everything wrong in a classical, normal, as you asked about the decor, I don't feel the need to follow any rules. The only thing I follow is don't get hurt or hurt anyone else, and don't waste. And other than that, I'm free to try things, do things my own way, differently. Then I don't need to follow the rules, which there are people that threatens, there are people that upsets, there are people that yell at me and say things like, you have to use the vernacular of the industry or somebody will get hurt. No, I don't. I just have to watch out for everybody. And I wish everybody did. And nobody got hurt on our movie production, even though there were people that yelled those things at me. Anyway, the only thing we have no one else can give the world is us. So, everybody following, and often they're what I call broken world rules people follow. So follow your heart, follow what makes you happy, bring more happiness into the world instead of following what everyone else does. I just let my hair grow. I never go to the beauty salon. I don't do any of those things. I don't spend any money on those kinds of things because I want to have time for what makes me happy, which is creating. And so I don't need to, get a job that pays for stuff I don't need. I've had many jobs in my life, especially, that I haven't been economically supported or that I've taken in 3 homeless family members and supported them by myself. But I always did things that I didn't have to worry about when I wasn't there. I didn't have to think about, so that I could think about the things that make me happy. Art. I preferred cleaning houses to doing jobs that were, mentally demanding, or jobs that they call me later and have my time to think about my stuff interrupted. So I don't mind menial work. I just don't want to not have my energy for the meaningful work. So she feels a little bit like she's starting to float. And I also feel like this aura I like to put around things really helps pop the color out. So the colors are about the full spectrum of life and possibilities, and the floating, free and easy. Yes.
Claire Boisano said, enjoying your presentation today and your thoughts on life.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Glad you're here. It makes my heart happy to hear from you and to connect with you. And thank you so much. And I love you guys. And I call these virtual visits because it feels like that. I feel connected, which is part of the reason my first piece, Primordial Potential, has 73 different words for love, because it is my belief it doesn't hurt me, doesn't hurt anybody else, helps me and could help other people. And I think it aligns with all different religions, that it's love. That is the divine. And in my opinion, it's the most powerful force in the universe, and it doesn't have any limitations. Like I feel like you're here with me, Claire, Sue, Tigger, I feel you, and I feel connected to you. And we're, a couple thousand miles apart, a couple of us, and it doesn't make any difference. And I experienced that with my mother throughout my life. Wherever we were feeling each other. And, somehow love connects us, even with people that have passed, like my mother. Oops.
We okay?
All good. Nothing broke. I put my foot on the dish at that poignant moment, like my mother. I feel her. And when I need some wisdom, I reach for her in my heart, and I'll say something, and people who knew her, like Claire have said to me, "You sound just like your mother," and I'm like, "She's still in me." So love connects us all, and I believe it's the divine in the universe, and I believe it's what was here before the Big Bang, because it couldn't be destroyed by the biggest black hole that had already eaten all the others, and it not able to be destroyed, even compressed to that tiniest particle that was so energetic it exploded into everything in the universe. So there we go. And because I got this grant to illustrate my life stories, it's very at times intimidating and at times liberating to just say what I think is important to say, which is what I decided as a little girl. I wanted to be kind, honest, and awake. So I say what I think. I know it helps me, so I'm just a person like everyone else, so I hope it helps others. And we're in a confused world. There are broken things in it, like sexism, and women aren't supposed to speak up, and we're not supposed to know what we know and be confident. Well, who made that rule?
Claire said, also looking beautiful today in the gorgeous stenciled sweater.
Thank you so much. I love, I was thinking this morning getting this on, that my little sister and I, we were very poor. And so we couldn't afford to go out, but we would get these beautiful clothes at used stores for nothing, because they were vintage back then, before it was in style. And we'd go down to the beach and make a fire in these beautiful vintage old dresses. And I kind of feel like, getting dressed for these live streams and showing the different ways we can use our creativity and wardrobe, jewelry, home decor, art, writing, whatever. Is what I have to share. That because nobody, I stayed away from people that told me that you have to do this way or that way, and so I'm free to just express whichever way I want. But I love getting dressed up, and Bodhi's the only one that's here, but you guys, I feel connected to. So there we go.
It's 12:40, and so if you could talk about what materials you're using and what kind of pencils.
These are Prismacolor pencils, and are they in the affiliate links?
I will share that now.
And so I started, which is quite often what happens with me, just instinctively, that I start with watercolor, and the feathers and the sky and cloud were all watercolor. And then I often find that the next thing I feel like doing is detailing with the pencils. And that's what's happening now. And sometimes I come back with more watercolor. And sometimes I'll even, I'm going to add some acrylic white to the cloud. But I don't decide until I get there. So acrylic paints, watercolor, Prismacolor pencils, or that's a brand, but they're water soluble, so they go really well with watercolor. Are very they're often mediums that I love. The big washy watercolor, and then the fine lines you can get with these pencils, nice and sharp. You can even draw the little feather lines inside. So yeah, and I've had not that much really people saying, you're doing it wrong and this is the way you're supposed to do it. It's creativity. In my opinion, the only wrong way is if you hurt somebody or waste or pollute. So, everything else is, hey, it's like telling a child you're playing wrong. That's absurd. But, fear tries to control, love supports, and there's a lot of fear in the world. So forgive them, but get away from people that hold you back from your own happiness. They don't let you play and express yourself, or they feel the necessity to criticize it or put you down. Next. Nicer next. So I'm hoping that this piece will be done before the next live stream on Sunday at noon. These live streams Wednesday and Sunday will keep happening until I finish this body of work. And the one on Saturday is for the new book of my crane art, which I'm using as a impetus to talk about my artistic practice is my spiritual practice. It's inspired by nature and by wanting us to live in harmony with each other and nature, and it's my spiritual practice and my art all in one. And so the new book that I'm going to launch on Saturday, Sentinels of Serenity, SOS, because I do think we're at a very inflection point in humanity of we either get humble and realize that we're connected to everything and everyone and take responsibility for that instead of greedy, myopic, stuff lust and power craving, and we take care of this planet, our only home, and one another, and stop arrogantly thinking technology is going to save us from ourselves. If we don't get humble and live in harmony with nature, it's going to go on without us, but we can't go on without it. So that's why Sentinels of Serenity, SOS. I didn't mean that. I just realized it. I'd say that that's enough of this for today, and I'm hoping I'm going to finish it between now and Sunday and get to share it done and move on to the next piece, which will be my first structure I lived in was Quonset hut, and in the desert. So that's what the next piece is going to be, and I'm starting. One of the only structures this body of work has is I'm starting, with the fetus and the infant, and then I'm going to go to a toddler, and then I'm going to keep going. So, and it's a wonderful challenge, and go for whatever inspires and challenges you, and only share it with people that are supportive. And if someone isn't, next. We don't need to let that stuff, slow us down, hurt us. Anyone that spends any time criticizing others is not happy in their own life. They haven't figured out how to use their time wisely. So forgive them, but love them at a distance. All right? Are there any other questions or comments I should address before we sign off?
Yeah. Clare Poisono said, that should be interesting. Have a great rest of your week.
Thank you so much. It's really nice to know you're there, and love you, Sue, love you, tiramisu. I like how that rhymed. And anybody else that's out there watching, and please send comments and questions, and I'll answer them on Sunday if I don't have a chance to get to them during the live stream. Thank you so much, Bodhi, for your help. And
happy to help.
And thanks once again to those who give to the arts, and especially the Minnesota State Arts Board for the grant to do this. It's very heartwarming. Thanks so much, and see you Sunday, or Saturday, for the so Saturday at noon for Sentinels of Serenity launch, and Sunday at noon for more on my life story illustrations.
Clare Poisono said, love you both.
Love you.